What's up, YouTubes? Mountain Man Magic here, and we got our Challenger deck review video. We're going to talk about what Wizards did really well and what they did only kind of well, but these things are home runs. Let's get into it. Let's go. Okay, now you can go and look into which one's the best or which one's going to fit your playstyle the most or which one's the best monetary value. Point is, they're all awesome, they're all going to be fun to play, and they're all great value for players. $30 MSRP is a super attractive price, knowing that the cards, at least at the time of announcement, were all valued at least $75, if not more, and that they are all legitimately being shown to be out-of-the-box competitive in a standard Friday Night Magic tournament. They're not going to be on sale for about 3 or 4 weeks, and the print run will be a big tell to see if Wizards has planned appropriately to make sure that everyone can get the color or colors or decks they want. I'm a little afraid that you walk into the store, you walk into your LGS, that you're going to see hanging up on the wall, the other 3 framing the one that you wanted that is no longer there. I know Hazoret's probably the big draw for me. I think Counter Surge is the one I'm looking for. But why are they such a good item? Let's break it down. Let's just try and go into like 3. Let's just talk about 3 things. One reason that they are such a good item, and I would say the best product Wizards has ever produced, is because of the removal of this barrier to entry to standard. Competitive formats can be pretty intimidating for new people that have never even played the game before. And even though there's a lot of resources out there, I can go online, I can look at Pro Tour deck lists, I can look online for just deck ideas around ones that I think would be fun. All that fun stuff takes time, and it's going to take money to test. These Challenger decks allow you to walk in, here's $30, plus like $10 for sleeves, because you should always sleeve your deck up. You should always sleeve your deck up, because whenever you're playing with it, you want to keep it safe. Feel like that could refer, not important. Point is, you can open it up and play in a tournament and have a good time. Another big point that I think these Challenger decks hit on is that they are the perfect answer for someone who says, what's the best product I can buy to just build a good deck? Because I don't want to just go buy singles. I don't have to go online and add 49 different cards to my cart. I don't want to have to wait for them to come in 38 different shipments. I just want the best product for my money. And now you can't even say just buy singles for these decks, because if you look at the price point for any of them, the lowest last I checked was $75, $74, and the highest was over 80. And then you compare them to the current products being offered, like the Deck Builder's Toolkit. No. Even fat packs or booster boxes aren't going to get you decks this good. Or if you look at something like the Planeswalker decks, which, yeah, I mean, they're good and they're built to be played exactly out of the box as they are, but they're really not competitive. Or if you look at the dual decks, those aren't necessarily tournament legal, and they're fun and all, but they're not necessarily balanced really well. Nothing competes with these decks. They're a win-win. They're a win-win for players because they know they're not wasting their money. They're putting their money in the most dollar-efficient product that Wizards has ever created for someone just trying to play the game. And then they've also created a win-win scenario for Wizards in that they are showing people, hey, here's an easy avenue, an easy entrance into a competitive format, which will hopefully hook some people in and get them way more interested in playing the game in a competitive setting, and thus just being probably a more loyal, more active, participating customer. Nothing like this has ever been offered by Wizards, and that's pretty cool. Now here's the really clever bit that I don't think anyone else has talked about. I find this super clever and super smart and really impressive by Wizards, because we know that Standard has a huge rotation coming up this fall with the Kaladesh block and the Amonkhet block, both of those rotating out. So if we look at these Challenger decks, a lot of the high value cards, even just looking at Hazoret Aggro, where I think that's the most in-demand deck, the 2 most important cards rotate out this fall. But the reason these things are super clever, the reason these Challenger decks, I think, are such an amazing offering from Wizards, you get this box product, right? And it gets you into Standard, and it's $30, and you're into the format. You play it in a couple Standard tournaments, and you start to tweak it a little bit and see how it's going to fit better for your local meta, your local game store scenarios. Then when the rotation stuff comes out, you being an invested member are now going to look for how you can either take your deck and ramp it up, or take this deck and use it as a jumping off point to find your next Standard deck. Or it does a little bit of that, but then also gets them into Modern, because now they have a deck that they really enjoy playing, that they've been able to customize and build up, and are going to continue to do so to play in the modern format. Either way, they're going to become more passionate and enjoying of the Magic community and whatever events come up. It's so good and it's so clever, and I'm not even mad. Me throwing $30 at a deck that I get to use in a tournament more than once is phenomenal. If you play it twice, it's the same as if you'd spent $30 doing a couple drafts, right? But you get to keep the deck. It's going to be competitive still, and you're going to keep it together and actually use it much longer than you're going to use any deck you build in a draft, I would bargain. So can we all agree that these phenomenal? Probably the best. I'm still going to argue the best product that Magic has probably ever created when it comes to just getting any type of player into a competitive format. Now, if we do look at this product's longevity, I think it does bring us to a crossroads, because I think wallet fatigue has definitely started to set in, especially for me. And if we look at the master sets real quick, we can see that they have not lived up to the hype or have been as, I would say, beneficial to the game of Magic overall that these challenger decks are appearing to be. So my idea and my hope right now, if I just have to throw something out there, is that Wizards will, one, stop producing a master set every year, and two, what I think the best scenario for that is, or what it looks like, is that we have a master set one year and then a challenger deck the next year, because standard rotates out. No deck is in standard for 2 years. So if Wizards can keep pumping these out every other year to kind of catch the tail end of a standard meta shift, that's pretty great. And then if they can pump out a master set that is starting to be of higher quality because they can put more of the high quality cards into it, if they can lower the pressure on the master sets while keeping these challenger decks exciting and new and not just something that you see every year and it's like, yeah, maybe I'll get one, maybe I won't. For me, I'm excited about seeing it this year. And maybe they could do the challenger decks every year, I don't know. But I think it'd be pretty fun to know that every year you have something really exciting to look forward to versus every year seeing something that you hope lives up to the hype, like Masters 25 totally did not. And the only negative I can really think of with these challenger decks and their release date around Masters 25 is that these products are going to be competing with each other when it comes to what a store is going to put on as an event. Now, maybe your game store does more, but I'm just thinking from a Friday night Magic perspective, you're only going to have time to really put on one event. So you're going to put on a draft for Masters 25, or you're going to do a standard tournament so that people can use these brand new, super fun challenger decks. I don't know. If I was the store, I probably want to get rid of the product that is going to be hard to move in Masters 25 because Wizards has now stuck me with a premium product that people don't want to pay a premium for. And the way I can get it off my shelves is doing a draft. But if I'm Johnny Be Good over here trying to play with my brand new deck, that's not going to fly. That's not going to work. If the store wants to do a draft and I'm going to play standard, that's going to be a little frustrating. So I hope one, that Wizards has kind of accounted for this, and hopefully game stores don't really feel as much of an impact, and maybe the switching up between drafts and standard keeps people coming back for both. Fingers crossed. The other thing that I'm hopeful of is that Wizards has accounted for this in their sales numbers, knowing that not everyone who's interested in both products is going to be able to afford both. I would hope that their whatever metrics, dashboards, super fancy analytics, or actuarial models that they've built for these things accounted for the fact that you now have two products that are going to compete for players' times and game stores' event slots. That's not something that I think was overlooked. I'm hoping it wasn't. It feels maybe a little bit, but time will tell. And by no means am I looking at it as a slight on these challenger decks, because I think it's a great time to release them, to give players time to play with them before a lot of the competitive high-value cards do rotate out. So yeah, and to you watching, are you going to buy a challenger deck or multiple of them? Do you think this is as good of a product as I do, or do you think it's not so good? What's your take on it? Are you as excited about it as I am? I'm pretty excited, pretty stoked. And of course, thank you for watching. You're awesome. I really, 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 really appreciate it. If you're looking for a new person to subscribe to, I would say pick my channel if you want. Again, really appreciate you watching. Hope life's treating you well. We'll see you in the next video. Peace.